What's going on, people? It's your man the YB back once again. Big shout out to my doggy Soko for coming through and boosting up the coin. So, David Benavidez versus Morrell Jr. David Morrell. Listen, I got bumped for a fiver. I'm not gonna lie to you about it. I tried to get it off. I tried to cancel it, but they wouldn't let me out of it. It's one of them ones. I put a fiver on Morrell at like 2-1. I got bum pulled. Although I did say, as I was trying to cancel it on my live stream, whenever it was on Friday night, I did say I thought Benavidez on points or the fight going the distance was the most likely, and it was that one. So, bash, I got bumped. What's that corny AJ saying? If we don't win, we learn. Oops. Anyway, where shall I start here? This fight, in the first 4 rounds, I thought, listen, this could be an all-time classic. Especially that 4th round. In the 4th round, Benavidez threw 65 shots. And Morrell threw 61 shots. It was proper heating up. At the same time, though, I started thinking, oh, these guys are going to gas. And I mean, actually, looking at the punch stats, I didn't see this amount of punches being thrown, to be honest. I didn't think it was that busy, but it clearly was. Even in these last 4 rounds, you got Morrell throwing 57, 54, 56, and 62 shots. Surprised at that, to be honest. I thought they was both blowing down the back straight, hanging. But listen, Benavidez has had a great run, I think what Morrell Jr. was potentially lacking was that 12-round experience. He looked tired. He was doing well. Clearly, allegedly, he was punching. Didn't have much accuracy. Benavidez is right in front of you, but he wasn't being hit a lot by these punch stats. And even if you look at their faces, Morrell was more bust up. Morrell definitely lost the fight. However you score it, I didn't count the rounds, whatever. One judge was probably a bit wide. I think one judge had it 115, 113, and the rest were like, or 115, 111. Don't know how that works out, to be honest. 115, I thought 115, 113. He must have had some 10-10s in there or something. What we do know is Benavidez definitely can't punch. Neither can Morrell, really. Neither of these two cats can really punch, is the truth. We weren't sure about Morrell because he ain't fought no one. That last fight was a bit of a red flag, and it turns out he can't punch with Tuffy. Benavidez, he can't punch with Tuffy either. But I have to backtrack. I did think Canelo would whoop Benavidez. Now I'm not so sure. Canelo will be blowing in there. He'll be blowing. A great fight, though. That's what they should do, really. But Canelo don't want it, man. And the other day I talked about how there was some dude complaining that he doesn't want to fight someone because, he's being rude. And it was Canelo. So I just found the quote. Look at this corny dude here. Canelo on Benavidez. When somebody approaches you like that and calls you out like that, you don't need to give them money. And Benavidez actually responded to this corniness in the post-fight, which I've got lined up for you, man. Here we go. Listen to the bars here.
I just showed what level I'm on.
Yeah, for sure. And lastly, Eddie Reynoso was sitting ringside. Do you feel like this victory would bring you closer to Canelo fight, or maybe not?
I don't know, bro. You guys keep asking me about that fight, and I know as much as you guys. I would love to fight Canelo. It'd be a massive, massive fight. But Canelo says that he has other things, and he says I'm being too mean in the way I'm approaching him. So
you don't want to face monsters.
I guess I got to work on my attitude.
Clowning him, and that's right. That's fair play to do it, man. I think the fight will be 50-50. I wouldn't bet on it, that's for sure. I can see Benavidez working too much. Let's have a look, actually. Let's have a look at Canelo versus Triple G. It's not maybe Canelo versus GGG3 CompuBox. I want to see the comparative stats here, because these two dudes, I think in the second fight though they both threw loads of punches. Anyway, look, much lower. Well, the total punch stats for Canelo versus Triple G3 was Canelo 487, so it's not miles apart. Benavidez in this fight, he threw 553, so it's not miles apart actually. I swear Benavidez, I don't know how they make these punch stats, man. I never see Canelo throwing as many. Benavidez is like in there putting freezing force together. I rarely see Canelo putting freezing force together, so I don't know how they work these numbers out, to be honest. Either way, if we go on these numbers, allegedly they got a similar work rate. Allegedly. I think Benavidez probably throws 3 or 4 punches more around. Tomato on that one. It should be the fight next. That said, if we get Crawford or Benavidez, he's not going to fight Benavidez. Benavidez is too big and too rude, like he said. Yeah, Canelo said, listen, I'm not fighting you because you're too rude. What the fuck? Said no man ever. Weird ass dudes, man, carrot top. Weird dude. He used to be on it though. He did fight Triple G. He did move up and fight Triple G. This is what happens when older fighters, they get scorned. They get bitter at the game. He's winning, but he's still bitter for something. You don't want to get in there and test himself. Tell a lie, he was testing himself until Bivol gave him a reality check. Bivol touched him, man. He ain't been the same since. Bivol broke that guy, man. Anyway, back to Benavidez. He can't punch. He definitely can't punch, ain't gonna lie to you. That's his problem, I think. And Beterbiev, there's no doubt about it. What we know from a fact from this fight was a good test. It was a good run. It was a good fight in the run. He's gone. Who's he gone? Plant Pot? Caleb Plant Pot, Eminem. Demetrius Poo Poo Andrade. Vosdik, who ain't no scrub, he ain't no punk. And then you got now Morrell. That's a proper solid run there. That said, it's probably one of the better runs if you got to get in there with Beterbiev, but I didn't see enough here. I don't care what none of these stats say. Apparently Benavidez was throwing 47, 48, 43 and 45 punches in the last 4 rounds. I thought he was hanging. I thought he was goose, to be honest. Up to 8 rounds, it looked like Benavidez might be able to stop him. And his wheels fell off. In them same 4 rounds, like I said, Morrell was throwing 57, 54, 56, 62. Yes, you have to applaud Benavidez's his accuracy though. In them rounds he's hitting 48%, 49%, and then 230% here. Accuracy, which is high. Morrell had the higher output, but landed, I think, less shots because his accuracy was down in the mid-20s. You got 22% here, you got a 24% there in round 10. So Benavidez is doing something quite sneaky. Because even when you look at Canelo versus Triple G punch stats, Canelo's only landing 26% accuracy, whereas Benavidez finished this fight at 41% basically, which is extremely high, you know. Let's have a look actually at Floyd versus Canelo CompuBox. I swear Floyd was like in the 40s. Oh, this is dead, man. This Moody Brave browser's no good, man. It's no good for the search engine. Canelo versus Floyd CompuBox. Yeah, Floyd landed 46%. So yeah, Benavidez is up there with the best, man. Let's check Bivol as well. I think Bivol versus Beterbiev CompuBox. I think Bivol's up there. Let's have a look. No, he sucked. Bivol sucked relatively. He only landed 33%, and everyone was sucking him off for how good he was. Oh yeah, Beterbiev threw 700 shots. 682 shots, man. He'll be too much for these dudes. He'll be way too much for Benavidez. That's where this is going ultimately. If he can't... Turkey has, by the way, has offered to... He's flying out Benavidez to watch Beterbiev versus Bivol 2. Hopefully, I tell you, Turkey's doing the Canelo versus Crawford, but I think that makes more sense. Benavidez versus Canelo. But Canelo ain't never going to go for that. He barely wants to fight 135-pound Terence Crawford. So, it's one of them. But I'd rather see... I think Beterbiev get punched up. Benavidez. Too many B's here. Bivol, Beterbiev, Benavidez. Beterbiev too big, too strong. He punches too hard. I haven't seen enough punching. He was hitting, clearly. Benavidez was hitting Morrell a whole bunch. Didn't do nothing in there. Did absolutely not a bean. And he still threw less shots. And Morrell, more or less, Morrell didn't come in there like Arislan Lara, all boxing and shit. He was there as well to be hit. And Benavidez threw about 150 less shots than Beterbiev will be all over him. Especially in the last few rounds. I don't care what these punch stats say. I saw Benavidez fall off a cliff. Bearing in mind how he started, he was blowing after that 4th round. The 4th round caught up with him. And I have to admit, the bottom line is, he didn't have a second wind. He's known to be the guy who's got cardio for days. People were saying, oh, well, the Plant fight, he couldn't finish Plant because of the clinching. Well, Morrell wasn't clinching. And I think at points, Morrell had great heart, good heart, but he was on the receiving end. I didn't see Benavidez go through the levels. You put either one of these two. Benavidez and Bivol will look similar versus Beterbiev. Arguably, if Benavidez don't get on his bike, Bivol survived that fight because he was proper running. That was literally a running show. Proper running around the ring. Never seen nothing like it. I want to see what they need to start bringing into the stats here is like, in football, in athletic sports, they can tell you, in running sports like basketball or football or I'm not sure American football, either way, they can tell you how, they say, oh, this guy ran 13 miles during this match. They need to bring a running stat in here. Let's see how much running yards these guys put in. How many meters did Bivol run? He must have run half a marathon. Seriously. He was like, woo, 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 woo. That said, Benavidez's running yards, I've never seen him run. So he's going to be right there, and he can't punch. And there's no way he's knocking Beterbiev out. There's no way he couldn't even stun Morrell. Couldn't stun Morrell. Yeah? He's not going to stun Beterbiev ever. Not in a month for Sundays. I think Benavidez and Bivol have a similar level of power. Benavidez's shots look more crisp though. They look crisper, but they don't have no effect. I've been saying that for a while. There's no you don't see people shocked from his power. It doesn't stun them into submission like Canelo does, or like Beterbiev even more so. But Beterbiev is too big, too strong, man. And it's a shame, really. I checked the odds out on on Beterbiev versus Benavidez, and the odds suck. So there's no value here. You put a tenner on Beterbiev, you'll make about £35 profit. I wouldn't touch that with a barge pole. It's just not sweet enough. Yeah, it's too much. I'm not saying Benavidez will definitely lose, but there's no gambling edge here. I was hoping, and maybe if the fight happens next year, the odds will change. If going into the fight, it was 50-50, I'll be all over Beterbiev all day and night. He will proper fill this guy in. Seriously, it'll do him some proper arm. I like him though. He took risk. Yeah, the Morrell fight. At 175, based on hype, although Morrell's resume, as we talked about on Friday, is a bit lacking, based on hype, he did. Who else at 175 was an up-and-comer? You got Buatsi right now, but again, what's he done really? Willie Hutchinson. Morrell looked better. I don't know actually, but Buatsi, I'd say Buatsi and Morrell are of similar level at this point. That's what I'd say. So Benavidez really fought the next best guy. Name another guy at 175 outside of Beterbiev and Bivol. He fought the next best guy. So he's not playing. This wasn't... I don't know, actually. The South American market may or may not have been there. It wasn't like it was a huge Triple G or Canelo type fight where it was obvious. So I do rate Benavidez. He can't punch with toffee, but he's not just taking the piss out of the sport, just trying to find easy matchups like Tank. Benavidez has not as much of a following as Tank, but he has a little cult following, no doubt. The Mexican cult following. He could easily do a Tank, right? And be like, ooh, I'll fight this bum here and this bum there. He don't do that. He's only 27 as well. I think Tank, how old Tank now? Gervonta Davis. Age, let's have a look how old this guy is. He's like 40 now and he's 30 years old, people. He's knocking on 40 years old. He's 30 years old. And he's still fighting Bummingtons. Benavidez, age. Benavidez is like 27, 28. So, yeah, you can say, well, Tank's been a world champion before. Has he? It was a moody world champion. He never beat no one. He ducked Loma at 130, that's for sure. He ducked him hard. He ducked him at 135 as well, to tell the truth. So you've got Benavidez. Benavidez at 28 has a much better resume. He's got 4 names on there. One undefeated. Is it one undefeated name? Yeah. I think Morrell was his first undefeated one. He popped. Because Plant had already been popped by Canelo. Pupu Andre, actually. He was only moving up one weight class. Pupu Andre was meant to be the next second coming of Muhammad Ahmad Bruce Lee. And he popped in, he filled him right in for him. Proper filled him in. So Benavidez got a better resume than Tank Davis, unfortunately. Tank had to drain the life out of Ryan Garcia. That could have been a good win, to be fair. Yeah, if Tank hadn't drained the life out of Ryan Garcia with moody rehydration clause, that would have been a good win, but he didn't. He sucked the life out of him. So, yeah, I respect to Benavidez. He's 28. Which clearly in 175 years, Bivol's like, 33, 34? So he's at the right age of things to be getting on with his career. So I do respect him. And really, if he can pull it off, if he pulled off the Beterbiev win, it's great for us, if that makes sense. I don't see it in a month for Sundays, though. Anyway, before I go, let's now get to... Benavidez did punk Morrell a little bit. There was a nice amount of sportsmanship, bearing in mind the build-up. Morrell's manager or something started kicking off. It all kicked off again though. Morrell wasn't doing it. Morrell's manager or something started. He was like a 60-year-old Donny with white hair. He's like, oh, I'll have you. It's mad. He was bugging, man. And Benavidez said, I'll slap you in your mouth right now. Anyway, here's some bars from Benavidez.
Y también la gente de Cuba también. Los quiero mucho.
This was a tense fight from the start. Did anything surprise you in there tonight?
Not really, because I prepared for everything. I knew he was a great fighter, so I had to be on my P's and Q's. Head movement was good, defense was good. To be honest, I thought he was going to hit harder, but he didn't.
The fight got a little bit...
So he punked him and said, I thought he would hit harder, but he didn't. Now, when I first heard this, I thought, what's this corny dude talking about, man? You got your ass popped on the deck. However, I've watched it back now, and this knockdown in round 11, it actually wasn't a knockdown at all. No shots land. I'm going to play. Here we go. So Morrell's doing the leaky deaky, the moody guard, the moody drunken warrior. He steps in. So no shots landed yet. Still no shots landed. And you're going to see Morrell is going to throw this right hook. See, there's the right hook thrown. It hits Benavidez on the shoulder. See, look. It never lands. It hits Benavidez on his arm / shoulder. It never lands on his head. It's a push shot. So it wasn't actually a knockdown. So at the time when Morrell got a point deducted for the punching after the bell, I thought, man, this is a cabal scam on the masses. But in reality, it balanced things out. It shouldn't have been a knockdown, bottom line. It was a balanced shot. It's crazy. When you're watching things live, you think, yeah, man, that was clean as you like. You didn't do nothing. One more time. There you go, look. Straight onto the arm. Never hits his head. So it was a fake news shot. That was really the only... I mean, Morrell had some good shots in there, but that would obviously have been a defining moment, which was fake news. So he definitely got whooped on this one. He got whooped. Too much volume. Benavidez is in front of you, yeah? Clearly he's in front of you. But he ain't getting hit a whole bunch. And it wasn't like Morrell wasn't punching. Morrell was punching a whole bunch. He threw... In fact, Morrell threw more shots than Benavidez. Morrell threw 601 shots. So he was throwing a whole bunch. But Benavidez is a good man. He definitely, from probably 80-90% of the fight, he was the one controlling the pressure narrative. Until he got tired in the latter rounds, it kind of came more equal in 10, 11, 12, in my opinion. But yeah, I think Benavidez is solid. He's not going to beat Beterbiev, though, which is what the bottom line is. You've got these two, he's like, they say, oh, he's the unified, the PBC doing their Kabbalah scam. Oh, he's the unified interim champion. I've never heard of that. These belt cats are mad, man. These belt cats are mad. And what I don't like is the WBA and whatever belt was it, WBC. The WBA and WBC would rather make Benavidez unified interim champion than order, yeah? Canelo has the WBA and the WBC at 168. So they'd rather pump him up and make out his interim world champion at 175 when he's not, ever. If anyone's interim world champion, it'd be Bivol, right, at this point. So they've made Benavidez, they've obviously, compromised. They've said, okay, Benavidez, we're not going to put the pressure on Carrot Top for you. What we'll do instead is try to undermine Beterbiev. Beterbiev got no problem smoking that ass at all. So why is that? Why is it, you know what I'm saying? It's really quite fugazi, man. He's been at 168. He should have been. Why was Canelo versus Benavidez never ordered by the Moody WBA or the Moody WBC? Never ordered it. The fuck? That tells you the level of corruption here. And the Guadalajara cartel, who Canelo Carrot Top's patterned up with, they pressured these guys. They touched them. They got touched. Can I blame them? Did Mauricio Suleiman want to wind up missing somewhere? Probably not, but still, they got touched. There's no doubt. How can you be at a weight division 10 years and be sitting right there and Carrot Top's fighting Bummingtons? How did Bumlanga, Chinguia? How did Jaime Chinguia? Yeah? How did Jaime Chinguia and Edgar Bumlanga get the shot before Benavidez? That's fugazi. No good. Forget about it. So yeah, I do wish Benavidez all the best, to be fair. He's not just a talker. Yeah? He's trying to make the best fight. That's what this fight does prove. I believe. He will get in there. He's talking about going up to cruiserweight as well. I mean, I think he doesn't look that big, though. He was a bit bigger than Morrell, but he didn't look big enough where I think, yeah, you've got another 25 pounds there. He's, even at this point, where is it? He's still quite... Benavidez is still... I guess he's got that kind of big bonedness about him. There's no way he can put another 25 pounds on. He's not even lean at this weight. 175 is his weight, in my opinion. He doesn't look yeah, I'm not sure what he's going to do on cruiserweight, to be honest. Them guys will jab a title. I don't rate him yet, but I mean, we'll watch it, to be fair. If he wants it, give it to him, but let's see how he gets on. He might shock us. Who knows? Bivol might win. And that's a different conversation then. If Bivol beat Beterbiev, not my base case, but if Bivol did beat Beterbiev, Benavidez matches up much better. But then again, wait a minute. If Beterbiev's pressure can't solve Bivol, is Benavidez is likely to? Probably not. I think Beterbiev's got a much better gas tank. Is he as accurate? Maybe not though. You don't necessarily need the most power or the most pressure. Benavidez does find a target. He puts shots together. I think Benavidez does put shots together better than Beterbiev. He finds them touch to the body and whatnot. But Morrell was standing right in front of him a lot of the time. Morrell was standing there like this, so you can find a shot. If Bivol was moving a whole bunch, it might be a different scenario. But listen, these are all great combinations of fights. Win or lose, to be honest. If Beterbiev beats Bivol, who's next? Probably is Benavidez, to be fair. Boazzi should fight Bivol, the loser, man, if I'm honest. Because what's he done? Beat a washed up Callum Smith and William Hutchinson. I'm sorry, Benavidez has done more than Boazzi at this point, for sure. There's no doubt about it. Is Willie Hutchinson, who's he? No one knows. He had one half decent fight against a D-level opponent, Craig Richards. Callum Smith, he's washed to bits. Morrell was undefeated. He had it all. An undefeated fighter is like a whole different thing to a dude who's been beat a few times. That's just what it is, people. Especially after getting in there with Beterbiev, you ain't the same. Callum Smith might not be the same. That's for sure. And even Canelo broke Callum Smith. He didn't want to fight no more. But yeah, good fight. It was verging on potentially legendary at one point in the first 4 rounds. They got tired and it fell off, but they were still punching it on the punch stats. They were still going for it. So yeah, fair play to them. They showed Tyson Fury, to be honest, how to fight. Yeah, especially Morrell. When Morrell was told, you need to do something here, you can see it in the punch stats. Morrell comes out in the last 4 rounds and punches the most he's been punching the whole fight. In the last round, he threw 62 shots. Was it one of the most impactful shots? He was trying though. In fact, whilst I'm here, let me have a look at Fury versus Usyk CompuBox. Let me see what these fake news stats are saying. So Fury in the last 4 rounds did nothing, essentially. He threw 41, 32, 32, 41. There's no real... It's just a bunch of... He was doing that throughout the fight. In fact, Tyson Fury had his least punching rounds in rounds 10 and 11. That's a fact, documented. He punched the least he did in the whole fight in rounds 10 and 11. Morrell, who was losing, punched the most in the last 4 rounds. That shows you he wanted to win in there. Fury just rolled over, man. He got his big, soft, Benadorm expat body tickled, so I don't want to hear no more about him. Yeah, this wasn't the pinnacle of having a proper scrap, but there was more heart in there for me. Morrell he was trying to half find a way, so salute to him. And Benavidez, he negotiated the situation and he never got punked. Even when that fake knockdown happened, he came back in the next 10 seconds and proper put it on him. So yeah, good fight. All in all, it wasn't a boring fight, that's for sure. Anyway, people, let me know your thoughts. Smash the like button, subscribe, like off the bell 100%. There's no doubt about this. Some people, stop it.